a lot of uncertainty, a lot of not knowing what will happen tomorrow. And the main thing for me was, because I didn't mind like sleeping hungry. Okay, no child wants to sleep hungry. But so long as my mom was there, for me it was enough.
There was comfort.
Because I knew at least we are okay. Mom is here and my bros are here.
We're gonna make it through.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Njoki Karaoke, and I'm here on a hostile takeover of the beloved. And I'm here with a very, very special person, a person who has been very influential personally in my life. And I'm here to make sure you get to know her and you get to see her for the person she is. Let us welcome, drum roll. So, should I call you Kate or should I call you Pastor Kate?
Any can do.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome.
In your channel.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome to your channel.
Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So, do you want us to head straight on to the questions, or how do you feel? Should we put you on the hot seat today?
Whichever. I'll flow. I'm here. I'm ready to talk. Yes. So I can begin probably by introducing myself.
Yes, most definitely.
Yes, thank you.
Tell us who Kate is.
Yeah.
And what Kate loves. What exactly you like doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that would be a very, very good
Okay.
to
I'll try to answer all those questions at once. Okay. My name is Catherine Wairimu, or you can call me Pastor Kate. You can also call me Teacher Kate.
Yeah.
I've been a Sunday school teacher for the longest time, for over 20 years or so.
Wow.
You can call me Mama Adriel.
Yeah.
I'm a mother of 4 boys, Mama Adriel, Asha, Israel, and Ronnie. So all of them you can call me. Yes. And I'm also a wife, married to Pastor Bob.
All right.
Yes,
Tell us about it.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Pastor Bob, or Robert Wanjau, is my husband. We have been married for the last 15 years.
Ooh.
We celebrated our anniversary in August.
All right.
Yes. So we thank God for this far. We thank God for the grace for marriage. We thank God for the children. We thank God for ministry. I also forgot to say I'm also a pastor. Did I say that? Okay. Yes.
Tell us about it.
Okay, Pastor Kate. That is we what is it called? We pastor in JCC Nakuru. Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes, thank
That's
you.
really great. You're a mom.
Yes.
You're a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a wife.
Yes.
Of 15 years.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Beautiful 15 years.
15 years.
Very amazing years.
I
thank God.
I'm hoping that one day we can get to hear about this 15 years.
You will.
And get to know about the 4 about the 4 kids, raising the 4 kids.
It has taken the grace of God.
Glory to God. I would really, really love it if you told us about your story.
Okay.
Tell us about where Pastor Kate has been, where Kate has been before Kate became Pastor Kate.
Yes.
Before Kate became Mrs.
Wanjau.
You know. Tell us about it.
Okay. Sawa. Here it goes.
Yes.
Are you ready for the story?
Am I ready?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
I'll try to make it as brief as possible,
Okay.
because it's a long one.
Okay.
Yes, I wasn't born yesterday. I have quite some years to me, but I thank God for this far.
Okay.
So I was born in Pumwani Maternity Hospital in Nairobi, and but at that time we lived in Kino. My mom and my dad, they lived in Kino. So in my early childhood, I grew up in Kino. Kino is not far from Kikuyu.
Yes.
So I grew up there. We at that time, when we were living in Kino, we were 2 of us, like me and my brother. I'm the firstborn, and then my second-born bro. So we lived there for quite some time, just a few, not so many years, and then my parents' marriage had an issue. Like many marriages struggle. So they struggled for quite some time and they could not agree. So they ended up divorcing. So they divorced when I think I was in about class 3 or so. So they divorced, and my mom took us Kikuyu moms don't leave their babies
Take the
behind.
children. Yes.
No matter what it takes, they always carry their babies to wherever they're going.
Yeah.
So we went with my mom, now the three of us, and we started living in Kayole. So life wasn't bad. It wasn't really nice because now I was in a place where since I was born, I was used to living with my dad. I was used to being a daddy's girl, being the only girl at that time. But now life changed, in a big way, because now it was now just mom and the two of us. And now at that time, mom didn't have a job, so she was like now beginning life afresh. So starting to look for something to do, starting to take care of children by herself. It was a rocky childhood. It was a humble beginning, but she didn't take long before getting married again. So she remarried after some time, after 2 years or so. So she remarried to a very great man. He was a really nice man. I'm saying he was because he passed on. He passed on in the year 1997. Amen. So he was really nice. I feel like he took the place of my dad. Like he filled that gap. So he was nice. He took care of us. He loved us like his own children. Christmases were amazing,
wonderful.
We always had back then. We always had our parents had to buy us new clothes for Christmas. These days we don't.
These days, we do what we can do.
Ilipitwa na wakati. But at that time, Christmas was very important. Chapo za Christmas was very important. Na kuchinjwa na kwenda mashamba. So it was really nice when he was alive, because now at least I'll come and he assisted my mom to take care of us, and it was nice until he passed on. So when he died, I remember he got a stroke from the waist downward. So he got really sick, and I don't think we even saw him when he was unwell, because he was just in the hospital. So he got sick. At that time, my mom had a beauty shop. Beauty shops back then were making good money. Yes, they were really booming. So, my mom was doing that business at that time. But now when my stepdad died, the money that, the business that she had, went under. Because now I think she had to take care of the hospital bills and stuff. Though she wasn't even the first wife. But at that time, I was really young to understand those things. But anyway, after some time, her business had to close. So now we went back from where we had started.
All the way.
Yes, and at that time we were living in Kayole. And it was really nice. Your time kulikuwa na simu zilikuwa zinaitwa simu ya jamii. Were you there back then? Are you sure you were born? Yes. Okay. So we had a simu ya jamii, beauty shop. Life was nice. So now my stepdad dies, and now my mom was unable to pay for our rent. So we had to relocate to go to Ruai. So tukaanza kuishi Ruai for some time, and then life was a bit easier when we went there, because now the houses there are cheaper, because it was a bit interior back then. It wasn't developed as now. So tukakaa huko kidogo, and then after some time, life became even harder, because now my mom could not stay with us. She had to go look for work. So most of the time, me being the firstborn, I was the one taking care of my brothers. At that time, we were 3 of us. My mom had gotten another boy. Yes. So now being the firstborn, I now became their mom, taking care of them. So mom would go look for work, look for money, and then come back and atuachia pesa, whatever she had, and then we would survive on it. Yes, until she came back later on. So we stayed in Roy for some time. Life became even more difficult because we could not pay for the rent as well. So ikabidi tuhame tena. But now before we shifted, we didn't have mobile phones. Okay, maybe some people who are well off, but some of us didn't. So it was really hard to communicate with mom, to even get to know when she's coming, or if she's coming at all. So it was so hard for me. As in, I literally became a mom at a very tender age. So I remember before she came back, I had gone to a conference. I think it was a conference in a certain church in Dubai.
Around that time, how old were you?
I think I was about 13, 14. Yes, I believe I was about 14, thereabout. So like I had to know what my baby brothers would eat.
Yeah.
So I went to this conference, and as the prophet was, because it was a prophet, as he was ministering, he said that there was someone there who had been praying to God to answer their prayers concerning an issue that was pressing, and that was me. And he said that God has said that he has answered that prayer.
Amen.
And I believed it. I ran with the word, and I believe it would happen.
Yes.
Guess what?
Tell me.
Evening, my mom came back.
Wow.
And she had been gone for quite some time.
Yeah.
We didn't have food. We had to rely on tea in church. You know that you go to church and there's kachai.
Service.
Yes. So what when you're picking watu kachai, muendele.
You do a great
You
job.
just never know. Your chai inaweza kuwa it's the only thing that people had in the morning,
Yeah.
or it's the only thing that they have for that
For the
night.
week or the week.
Yes, very true. So that evening, mom came back and she told us that we were going back to Kayole with her. But now she didn't have a job, so we were going to live with a friend of hers. We went with her to Kayole, lived with that friend of hers. After some time, things were not working. We moved in with another friend of hers, as in it had become like a cycle, because now she couldn't pay rent.
Yeah.
So a time came, and like God gave her a job. God gave her a job in a small hotel. Yeah, so it was easy. Now she was able to get a small room for us, a single room. So we started living in that room, the three of us, because most of the time she wasn't there as well. So my mom has never been that person of staying with the kids. As in, she will provide, she'll do whatever it takes, but she may not be able to stay there. And I understand her, because being a single mom, it wasn't easy for her. I saw her many times crying. I saw her many times losing a lot of weight, you know. As in, she was so stressed. She had ulcers. She struggled with ulcers for so long. And I think even me, at some point I had it, because I didn't know how to help her. As a firstborn, you feel so sorry for your parents or for your mom. Yes, because now you want to help them, but you don't know how to. You don't have the ability to help them.
Yes.
So when she got now the job in a hotel, now at least life became easier for some time, for a very brief moment. Because now we got a single room, and now we got a bed, and now we could now stay in our own house, cook for ourselves, and now we no longer had to worry about living with people. But it only lasted for a very short time. And she lost her job again. We went back to living with people. The next thing, I don't know what would happen with those people we were living with. Either we were becoming a burden to them, so we wouldn't stay there for so long. So the next thing I remember, like we went to live in a vacant room in Kayole. So we got a house, because now unajua ukifukuzwa unatoka unaenda kwingine, ukifukuzwa unatoka unaenda kwingine. There's even a time we were talking with my second born bro, and we were like, can we even count the houses we've lived in Kayole? There are so many. I think in like 2 years we lived in like 20 houses. Wow. There were so many. And then now you couldn't pass at this shop, like Kanjia, you know, you can't pass through this way because mkona deni hapa, mkona deni pale. As in, deaths were all over the place. How we survived, I don't even know.
It is God.
It was really difficult. It was just God. It was just the hand of God. So we lived in a vacant room for some time, and then even that vacant room we couldn't pay for it as well. I remember in that house before that one, there's another one we stayed in, and at that time we had everything in the house. And everything, you know, like the things we had come with from
the other house.
Yes, from when mom was married.
Yes.
So we had all those things at that time.
Okay.
But now we got to a place in that house that we were in, ikakuwa hatuwezi lipa. And the landlady, she was a mama, and she was a bit elderly, but she locked our house. She took everything we had. My mom had nice clothes. She loved wearing skirt suits, and she's short, but very hideous, very beautiful. So kuna venye aliacha nguo zake huko, and it was so painful for her, because it felt like her whole life was left in that house. So everything was left there. So we started living like in houses where we didn't have seats, we didn't have beds, we didn't have even okay, we survived on stoves. I don't know where they were coming from.
But they came.
Yes, they came. So this time I remember, I think we ran from that house, because we only had a baby cot. for my small bro. So that baby cot, I remember, I don't even remember who carried it kwa nyumba ghorofa, kuiteremsha na kamba.
Yes.
I can't even remember who, but I remember
It was done.
we ran that night, and even as we are running from this house, we are going to another vacant room. We went to that vacant house, but now going to that one, we found that there was someone who was living there, and walikuwa wamechotwa. So there was I think a seat, one of them, and one bed. Bila mattress, bila cushion, bila nothing. So we went and stayed there for some time, and then we had to move again. In short, we moved a lot of moving, a lot of sleeping in vacant rooms, a lot of sleeping hungry, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of not knowing what will happen tomorrow. And the main thing for me was, because I didn't mind like sleeping hungry. Okay, no child wants to sleep hungry, but so long as my mom was there, for me it was enough.
There was comfort,
because I knew at least we are okay. Mom is here and my bros are here.
We're gonna make it through.
Yes. So it got to a place, my mom ended up having friends that were not really nice. I remember there was one time, let me skip that one. It is really sensitive.
Yes.
So
It's okay.
you watch on your channel too. Lest I get teary.
Yes.
But I also remember there is another instance when some friends came for her at home. It was a man and a woman, and they would call each other every time they had businesses.
I think I've had this story before.
Had it? Yes. I believe I've told it in church.
Yes.
So they called her and they're like, Joyce, my mom is Joyce. So they're like, Joyce, kuna deal imeivana. Yes. We were living in Kerala and they were saying that the deal was in Komarok. So they came for my mom, but when they came into our house, because I was still born again, I've always been a church girl by the grace of God. So when they came at home, I had so much unrest in me, and I knew something was wrong. So they came and they took her. There's nothing I would have done to tell her not to go. So they left. But the minute they left, I just knelt there. As in, we only had a bed. We didn't have seats or anything, but I just knelt there. And I cried to God. I told God, me, I don't care about food. I don't care about that money that they're going to make. All I want is mom to come back safe. So they went. They were so excited and they were so ready.
They were pumped up.
Yes. A few, maybe 2 hours later, they came back. They were so angry. They were complaining, saying, tujui nini ilifanyika, as in this thing was so ready. And they were complaining about the person who was making the deal with them. But the minute they came back and I saw my mom, I was just crying in me, inside. Yes, and I was telling God, you are faithful. Thank you for bringing, because I knew that I was so young, but I knew in my spirit that she would have ended up in jail. As in, I got to a place where even if I went to visit someone, I was so scared of watching the news. Yes, as in, kichwa changu ilikuwa inaniambia tu, kwanza nikisikia Kayole, Kayole is blessed.
It is very blessed.
Every time I would hear sijui kitu ilifanyika Kayole, oh my goodness, I was so worried. I was always
a bit,
not a bit, a lot, and my fingers were always crossed, telling God, akisikwe ni mom. I was living in a lot of fear. I was living in a lot of I don't know, a lot of doubt. I never thought I would come out of that kind of a life, So we continued living together, and mom now was still with us, and I was okay with that. So long as she was there, she would just go out in the morning and come back in the evening, and she would just come back with 20 shillings. And I was very happy. As in, not because of the 20 shillings, but mom is back home. That's all that mattered. Because I knew if she wasn't there, number one, I love my mom so much, because she has taken care of us all our lives. But it was, I knew that if she didn't come back home, then mimi ndio mama ya watoto.
Yes.
I'm still very young. I don't even know how to take care of them. I wouldn't even know where to start. But I thank God that God always brought her back home. She would come and give me 20 shillings and tell me, wait, this is all I got. And I would take the 20 shillings, 5 bob, buy mafuta, 5 bob, buy skuma, maybe tuko na kaunga, unabai alafu na mafuta ya nini, kerosene. The stove, unanunua, unaweka kwa stove, na mnakula mnashiba. And we were always okay with that. So it got to a place, I don't know if I mentioned about my school.
Please mention
school,
about it.
Yes, school was School was difficult because I've gone to countless schools.
So is this primary school, or now are you
all of them?
All of them.
Yes.
Okay.
As in, when we were in Kino, when my mom and dad were still together, I was okay. Like, school was okay.
Yeah.
I even began schooling in Kalsa in town, Nairobi town. So it was okay. I was enjoying school. But now with that a lot of moving, because now when we're in Kayole, we'll have to move from from the school that we were in to go to Kayole.
Another one.
Tukitoka Kayole twende not Dandora, Umoja, we have to change schools.
You lived in Umoja too?
Yes, I've lived in Umoja too as well.
Wow.
So we moved a lot, and as we were moving, we had to move schools as well. So I can't tell you, when people ask me which school did you go to in primary school, I'm like,
Nilimalizia class 8.
Nilimalizia Ukambani. Machakos, place inaitwa Kiongwani. Yes, in boarding school, the last 2 years of primary school. So nimeenda shule mob primary, nimeenda shule mob secondary, as in it has been just something else. So it got to a place when I was in form 1 was okay, because my stepdad was still alive. So going to form 1 was really nice. I was admitted in CCM Gatanga.
Okay.
Another school.
Alumni here.
Yes, but it didn't last for so long. It only lasted 2 terms, because now when my stepdad died, now my mom could not afford paying for the school fees anymore. So now I had to leave school again. So ilikuwa back and forth. Ninaenda, she would go and like ananitetea, ninaingia kidogo, and then I would come pay, ninafukuzwa, and then we go to another school. So there was always that hustle of trying to get new uniform for new school, getting new books for new school, and the money is not even there. So ilifika mahali, I remember ndio sasa nifike mwisho, where now I could no longer go to school anymore. I was going to a school in Kayole. I can't even remember the name of the school, because it was somewhere too ndani. Those of you just want to try and finish school at whatever cost. I was in that place, and my mom had really tried. As in,
she had done her
when
best.
People talk about their parents, me, I can't talk about my mom. She did her best. My dad also did his best when we were with him, but my mom has really struggled. She has really suffered to make sure that we are okay, and I thank her every day. Every time I talk to her, I tell her, Mom, asante, because I know the struggle and the suffering that she had to go through. So that last high school, I was in form 2 at that time, and I remember we were being hosted by a friend of hers, another friend of hers. And we could not even afford buying books. So guess what? Nilikuwa na vitabu 3 za, is it, how many pages is the smallest?
90 or 45?
No, not even that one. Now 16. I think it's 16 pages. I believe so.
Really tiny.
Yes. You know, yes. As in, I'm not sure, I can't remember if it's for 16, but it was really tiny. I only had 3 of them. So nilikuwa naenda naandika subject moja mbele, ingine katikati, ingine mwisho. And that one day when I went to school, and the teacher like mocked me a lot. And they said, are you even serious with school? Are you sure you're in high school? Vitabu za 32, not 16, 32 pages. Yes. Are you sure? Because I remember even his voice, he was a man. Are you sure? Yes, and I wish they would just listen and at least follow up to know why is this person coming to high school with a 32-page book, you know. So aliniongelesha vibaya, and I really felt bad. That day I went back home, and I sat my mom down. I said, Mom, you know what? I know you've tried. I know you really want us to finish our education, and I really thank God for you. But siwezi endelea hivi. So I told her, since I have smaller brothers, because my second born bro was in class 6, and the other one, I think, alikuwa hajaingia shule.
The small one.
Yes, Alan, my small bro. Alikuwa hajaingia shule. So nikamwambia, now since we've tried, and God knows we've tried, I have seen we've tried everything. Now there's nothing more we can do. So I told her, let me step out so that we can allow the smaller ones at least to hata wafike class 8 tu tusemange wako na KCP, mtihani KCP tu walifanya. So my mom is like, I understand, I feel bad, but we don't have a choice. So me in school tukamalizia na hapo, yes, at form 2. So ikakuwa bado mama na struggle. So what do? I help in whatever way. Yes, in whatever way I can. So after some time, there's a friend of hers who came from where is it called? Limuru, someplace. Jina inapotea.
When you remember, just mention it.
Yes. So when she came, she was like a friend of hers in her shags is looking for a house girl.
Yeah.
So I had them talking, and mom is like, "Apana, where's funny? You can't say, mom, now what do we do?
Yeah.
I have to help you."
Yes.
So they spoke, and they agreed on what the woman would pay me, and I went with that friend of hers. Akanipeleka huko. So nikaanza kufanya kazi. They were paying me. She wanted to pay me 1,000 shillings per month.
Yeah.
So but nikambembeleza. I spoke to her and I told her at least I need to pay 1,200 so that the 200 are due. I can buy my essentials. Yes, and then the 1,000 I would send it home. Yes, I would send it to mom so that mom I can at least pay for her rent.
1,200.
Yes.
1,200.
It feels like at that time it felt like a million. Because we didn't have that. I'm telling you, mom would come home with 20 shillings. So someone paying you 1,200 shillings was like a million. It was like 1.2.
1.2
every month. Yes, I was balling. So I got the job and she accepted to pay me the 1,200 shillings. And I started working. But now the challenge was I was still very young. I think I was maybe 15.
Wow.
15 kienda sana 16. Working there was really hard because she was a mother of 5.
Wow.
And walikuwa ABCD kama wangu.
One,
walikuwa wamefuatana.
Yes.
So the work was too much. Because I had to wash their clothes, all of them. The woman was married. And then the husband was unwell. So kazi yake alikuwa analala tu kwa sito hapo alikuwa na mattress. And then he had been a mzee wa kanisa.
Yeah.
So a church elder.
Yeah.
So every day there were pastors and bishops coming in to see him.
Wow.
So kulikuwa na vyombo za kuosha kila saa zilikuwa zilishi making tea. And then they also had a hotel in that town center.
Yeah.
So nikimaliza kazi ya home then niende niwasaidie huko. As in, it was just too much.
What?
I remember I had wounds, vidonda. I don't know if you've ever washed clothes with your hands.
Yes.
Nilikuwa na vidonda, so that when that neighbor, that lady who had taken me there, when she saw my hands, aliniambia, let me talk to your mom. So when mom heard about it, because I didn't know.
So the lady who's taking you there is a totally different lady from the one you were working for.
Yes, it's a different. Like now she was looking for someone for her neighbor. So when she saw my hands, she was like, "Apana, this is not even nice." So she spoke to my mom, and my mom was like, "Hey, tell my daughter to come back home." So they got me transport, and I went back home.
How long did you stay there?
It was only 3 months. It wasn't a long time, but it felt like 3 years. It was really hard.
You were 15.
That was the first place I washed jiko. As in, before then I had never done that because before then we got not gonna stove. Yes. So it was really hard. I went back home. Ikakuwa sasa tuendelee na mateso. Life iendelee kama kawa. And then I believe in 2000, my dad had been in South Africa like all our lives. After they separated, like he ended our life yake.
Yeah.
And then now, one day mom came and said, "Your dad said you should go back home." And now that is Kino.
Yeah.
As in amepiga simu, and he asked us to go back home. That was a relief.
Yes.
A relief. Kinda, because now I can't carry my mom.
It's bittersweet.
I can't carry my small bro. Because now my small bro is not from now my dad's place. He's from a different dad. Wow. So I couldn't carry my small bro. I couldn't go with my mom, and the way I was so worried about her at all times. Yeah. So the two of us, my bro and I, now we went to Kino. We then started living there.
So he just wanted his kids back.
Yes.
Okay.
Plus now you see now they are not even together. So now, and then he wasn't even in Kino. He was still in South Africa. So he was telling us to go back because now in my home, like there's uncles and aunties and shushu, and our house was still there at that time. So he wanted us to go back and start living in our house. So we went back. Yeah. It was still hard because now I'm still worried about mom. I'm still worried about my small bro. Wanakula nini? Every time when I would eat, I would be worried. Wanakula. I don't have money to send them. Yeah. So, but after some time, though when I went back to Kino, they tried to take me back to school. But
I actually wanted to ask, did you eventually go back?
They tried, but now I had been out of school for so long. Yeah. I didn't even have, number one, I didn't have confidence in myself. I didn't believe that I can do anything because of how life had
torn you apart.
Yes, life had really been tough on us.
Yeah.
So they tried, but I didn't even have the strength. As in, I had been away from school for like maybe 3-4 years. So I was wondering, where do I even go? How do I even begin? Where do I start? Will I even get anything? So me, I opted to go do a course, hairdressing.
Yeah.
But now looking for places where I could go, the colleges that were there, Akina Vera and the rest, we tried. But now because I did not have the Form 4 certificates, they could not take me. They were like, that's the only condition, as in that's the only requirement we need for you to be able to enroll with us. And I didn't have it. So people suggested that I forged,
Tengeneza karatasi, let's do
wakajaribu, but now I'm still born again, so my spirit will still not allow. So now since we went to so many colleges, my cousin and I, looking for colleges, but now hakuna wenye walinichukua because of that. So ikakuwa I ended up going to a nearby salon, Mama Gary. I still remember her. I hope she's still alive.
Glory to God.
Yes, because she was unwell, but I pray she's still well. So I started working in her salon. She was really nice. She started training me how to make hair, how to do to apply chemicals and all that. And after some time, I was making money. So I would make money, though it wasn't a lot, but to commissions here and there. Yes, at least I was starting to stand on my own feet, which was really nice. I would assist my mom with the little that I had. Naweza tuma kakitu hata ni 200, hata kani transport ya kwenda Tao ama kwenda Kayole kumuona. Now things were starting to look up for me. And that was really
encouraging
nice.
For you.
It was really encouraging. There's something I could do with my own hands, as in I didn't have to work as a house girl, because the place I told you where I worked in as a house girl, it wasn't the only place. I think I worked there. I worked in Kayole. I worked somewhere else. I worked in Kino as well as a house girl. I think I worked in 3 different houses. As a house girl, but I didn't have an option. Yes, and I loved it. I loved it because I love children.
Yes, you do.
So long as they are kids, me, I'm okay. But your face ikaisha. Ikakuwa sasa now I'm in Kino, I'm working, I'm beginning to do small jobs, and at least things are beginning to look better for us. And then I at that time I was in Kino, I was going into a different church, to Harvesters. And then a friend of mine happened to invite me to a Kesha. Guess where?
Don't tell me.
JCC.
Oh, I knew it.
He invited me to JCC. Previously, we had been fellowshipping with him in Harvesters, but he told me there's a Kesha somewhere. I want you to come
take you
with
somewhere.
And I'm like, okay, what's up with this Kesha? As in, what's up with this church?
What's special about it?
Why are you so excited? So I went to see for myself. So I went for the Kesha, and I'm like, okay,
I like this.
Me, I'm home.
Yes.
My apologies to the pastor, because I don't remember if I went back to say bye.
At Harvesters?
I didn't go back to say kwaheri.
You were just like, I am home.
I went for the Kesha and I was at home. Yes, so I started fellowshipping there. Kidogo. I became a Sunday school teacher there. So now, at least now, JCC is a beautiful place. Our bishop and our mom, Reverend Cathy, they are perfect people. May God give them long life. May God continue to strengthen them even as they continue serving God. So at that time we were in Gara. So I fellowshipped there for about a year or so, teaching children, going for Keshas and all that. And then about after 1 year or so, they happened to open JCC Nakuru.
Yes.
So when JCC Nakuru was opened, now they were looking for volunteers, people who would go, who would be going over the weekend to teach, to serve in different departments before they got their own co-workers.
Yes.
So me, I was available. I wasn't that busy. Yes. So I went as an usher because they had a 1 week crusade in the tent. So I went that whole week as an usher, and then after the 1 week, when people were coming back home, I'm like,
I don't want to go.
I'm not going back home.
I like this Nakuru atmosphere.
Yes, me, I loved it there. I didn't like the fact that it was Geshagi because I had never lived in Geshagi. I'm a ghetto girl. I'm a town girl. So my thinking was I would just be going over the weekends and then coming back. That was my plan. But I had fallen in love with Nakuru. I had fallen in love mostly with the kids.
Yeah.
Because now, these are kids that now we began teaching afresh, you know, from scratch.
Yeah.
And like they were so jovial, they were so loving, they were so caring. And they're including Akina dad's kids. Rina wasn't born. Comfy, sorry. I mentioned in our pastor's kids.
Yeah.
Akina Comfy and Ray.
Yeah.
As in, they were just amazing. And I felt at home and I didn't want to go back. So I went to Nakuru for a whole 7 months. So we would go on Saturday and then come back on Sunday.
Who was pastoring in JCC Nakuru?
In JCC Nakuru, Pastor Andrew and Pastor Cathy.
Yeah.
Yes, they are also very loving.
Yes.
They made me feel at home. I enjoyed it a lot. So I got a home. I found myself a new home.
Second home.
Yes, a second home, and I didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
Because at least it was a church that was beginning to grow, so I could find myself. I felt like I had a place there.
Yes.
So I went there for a whole 7 months. Like we would go on Saturday and come back, a few of us. And then after the 7 months, I'm like,
this is not it.
kuna vienye.
It's traveling.
Yes. And then I felt like now the life that I had in Nairobi wasn't complete. I felt like I was more complete when I was in Nakuru. Yes. So after the 7 months, I started looking for a house.
So how old were you around that time?
At that time, I was 24.
Wow.
Tumiaka tumesonga. Yes, tumiaka tumesonga. I believe I was 23, about 23 there. So God put it in my spirit to just relocate. So when I told my mom that I want to relocate to Nakuru, she's like, oh, that's what you want? Okay. My mom, kuna vienye, she's an easy going mom. Unataka hivyo sawa, go for it.
Do it.
Yes. People in Ngara like were joking and telling me, umepata mtu huko. And I'm like, no. Because my answer was, mimi niolewa na mtu wa mashamba. I'm so sorry right now. Nakuru is not mashamba.
Let's not spoil it.
At that time it felt like mashamba, you know. But I was going there for the love of the kids. Because I loved kids. I was going there because I had found myself a home.
Yeah.
I was going there because dad and mom had become so dear to me. Yes, so special to me. So I started looking for a place. I did not have money. Remember, I was still working as a hairdresser. Yes. And when you're doing salon work, and you're being given commission, at that time it wasn't a lot. Like you would do blow dry for 150, and then they would give you a commission of maybe like 30 bob. Yeah, because now wataisabu kuna stima, kuna pesa ya mwenyewe, kuna rent, you know. So pesa kidogo too. So I didn't have the money. Because even the transport for going to Nakuru, like the church was providing, JCC was providing for us. Maybe they would give us a mat or pay for us smaller line. So I didn't have money, but me in my spirit I just knew I need to move there. I don't know how, but I knew God would make a way. So I started looking for a place. And then when I went there, I told Mom, Pastor Cathy, JCC Nakuru.
Yes.
You know, when you say Pastor Cathy, you have to specify which
Cathy.
Which one? Cathy's, we are many. We are blessed in JCC. We thank God. So I told Mom that I feel led to move to Nakuru. And she's like, if that's okay, that's what you feel, you are very welcome. So I started looking for a place. But when I was looking for that place, I didn't look for the place alone. There was a young man in church.
Right.
There was nothing.
Well,
alikuwa tu jamaa church, and he was a young man who loved God. You could tell he loved God by the way he served. He was always there earlier than we got there. He left there the last person, together with a few more men. So the Sunday school was usually outside. We had tents. So every time I would see him, he was either carrying tents, carrying seeds, anaosha church, anaosha choo, making tea, as in just serving the whole time. Wonderful. So when I wanted to relocate, I spoke to him. I told him his name is Robert. Yes.
All right. Okay.
I spoke to him and I told him I want to relocate and I'm looking for a house. And he's like, okay. After church, don't go. So we can go look for a house. And then you can go back. Yes. Ndakupeleka juu Nakuru, ndakuonyesha. Yes, to Nakuru.
Yeah.
So after church that Sunday, tukaanza kupita around.